What's up, y'all? It's Chris. Here to give some real quick, brief, hopefully post-fight thoughts from last night's HBO pay-per-view and Strikeforce cards. You know, normally I don't like to mix my videos, my boxing and MMA together, but unfortunately, time permit. I only got so much time, so got to do it this time. So apologies in advance. Gonna start off with the boxing real quick first, only because that's what I saw first last night. Probably do reverse order on the radio show later today, but for the time being, that's what it's gonna be. Yeah, first fight that I saw, Malignaggi, Jose Miguel Cotto. Yeah, Malignaggi wins, unimpressive. Next, James Kirkland getting upset by Nobuhiro Ishida. Not only did he get upset, but he got stopped in the first round by a guy I didn't even really know of. Is it an upset? Hard to say. Ishida's former WBA interim, I believe, junior middleweight champion. Bigger resume. Kirkland never been... Kirkland's beaten Joel Julio. He's beaten some other guys. But I guess it's an upset. It's hard to say one way or the other. It depends on how you categorize an upset. But it was shocking to see nonetheless. To get knocked down, 3 times by a guy that no one really knew of. I know Kirkland was cool with the stoppage, but he wasn't winning that fight. If the ref would allow it to continue, he would have just probably got dropped again by the way it was going. And as the old adage goes, I never understood what it meant, but the bloom is definitely off the rose, and Kirkland has been somewhat exposed. Next up, we had the Robert Guerrero Morales match. Robert Guerrero Michael Katsidis match, that is. Man, I was surprised how one-sided this was for Robert Guerrero. I picked Katsidis to win the fight. Obviously, I was wrong on that, but not just that, how easily Robert Guerrero dominated this fight. Just that jab. Katsidis had trouble getting past it all night. Southpaw stance gave him a lot of troubles. Just could never get on track. Katsidis, to his credit, no surprise, never stopped trying, but just didn't have it. And, that's also more credit to Robert Guerrero for what he did. Just perfect game plan for him. Probably Robert Guerrero's best performance up to this point in his career, if you take everything into consideration, in my opinion. One issue with this fight, 8th round, Katsidis decided to go to the body as his trainer told him to. Was doing so effectively, but the punk-ass ref, don't recall his name off the top of my head, not going to go look it up, deducted points for low blows twice from Katsidis. That was absolutely ridiculous. Couldn't believe it. Terrible job of refereeing by whoever that ref was. Hope to never see him in refereeing a big fight, or at least a fight I'm watching again anytime soon. On to the main event of the night. Erik El Terrible Morales taking on Marcos Maidana. I, along with most... Hold on. I hate it when it's bad music playing in the background on TV. Distracts me every time. But I think I, along with most people, expected Marcos Maidana to run over Erik Morales. Wow. What a surprise. Fight definitely did not play out the way I thought it would. Maidana definitely went out there and tried to bulldoze and take Erik Morales out early, as I assumed he would. Not only try to do, but I assumed he would do. But man, Erik Morales surely has a lot more left in the tank than we thought. Was able to survive those early spots, that early pressure by Maidana, and not only survive, but have his moments even early on, maybe not in the first round, but rounds after. Back and forth fight throughout. Erik Morales said before the fight he saw some things Maidana could exploit. Sure, Maidana had defensive holds, but I didn't think that Morales had the speed or the reflexes left he'd be able to take advantage of those situations. Nor did I think he had enough left to survive a Maidana assault for 12 rounds. Well, that's why I said before plenty of times I'm no boxing expert. Although I think even the experts, or quote-unquote experts, or whoever you would consider such, they didn't get it right either. I was surprised that Morales not only was as successful as he was, but he actually looked to hurt Maidana on occasion briefly here and there. Just a real shock to see. Good back and forth fight. Close fight. I had Maidana winning 7 rounds to 5. I believe that'd be 116, 114. Somewhere along that line. Or 115, 113. Either way, close fight. I think that the judge who gave it a draw was a more clear indication of how the fight played out. I don't know if it was 8 rounds to 4 in favor of Maidana. I didn't really agree with those judges' scorecards. Would I like to see a rematch? Sure, why not? Morales, fought through that swollen eye from round 1 on. I'd like to see him not obstructed with that eye, having faced Maidana already, knowing that he can survive what Maidana brings, and seeing if he could further exploit defensive deficiencies that Marcos Maidana has. So, personally, would like to see a rematch. Would still favor Maidana, just based on the same reasons I favored him in the first fight, but after this performance, can't count Erik Morales out. And, gotta give him credit. Good performance. Unexpected, and showed he's still got a little something left in the tank, man. Anyways, moving on. Strikeforce last night. First fight of the night. Shinya Aoki gets a quick submission of a loud beer bomb. Beer bomb made the mistake of trying to go to the ground with him. Bad move. Got submitted with the quickness. Next fight, Gegard Mousasi, Keith Jardine. Jardine, for taking this fight on late notice, did pretty good. Definitely was gassed early on. Obviously, that's a product of him taking the fight so late, within like a week's notice. But I was surprised that Mousasi wasn't able to finish him sooner, Hold on one second, I'm thirsty. I thought Mousasi would be able to... Jardine doesn't have the best chin. Took the fight on late notice. I thought Mousasi would be able to stop him. Wasn't the case. Mousasi did get a point deducted for a low blow. Thought that was kind of uncalled for. It was the first time he had done it in the fight. Wasn't like it was a repeat offense. But fight goes to the distance. Goes to a draw. I think mainly the point deduction for Mousasi. Also, Mousasi, man, his takedown defense is terrible. Keith Jardine would get hurt and then would just get a takedown, so Mousasi couldn't finish him off. As hurt as Jardine was at times, he was always able to secure that takedown to, get the ground safe, get to the ground where he was safe for the time being. So Mousasi definitely needs to work on the takedown defense. Still disagree with the decision. I thought Mousasi did enough to win the fight. Give it a rematch. I'd favor Mousasi. I still think he deserved to win the fight, but unfortunately for Mousasi and for Strikeforce, Mousasi's probably not going to get the next title shot at Dan Henderson just yet. So I don't know. We'll see. Co-main event of the night, Gilbert Melendez defending his lightweight title against Tetsuya Kawajiri. Rematch of a great fight they had a few years back. This fight, nothing like the first fight. Well, it was exciting while it lasted, but it didn't last very long. Gilbert Melendez came out on fire, landed a big overhand right. Hurt Kawajiri. Just never let up. Unrelenting pressure. Hurt Kawajiri on numerous occasions on the feet. Had him in trouble on the ground. Just completely hustled him. I was surprised. I was almost shocked how one-sided this fight was, the way it ended. In came. Melendez got on top. Was able to use elbows that, thanks to Zuffa buying Strikeforce, has implemented that into the Strikeforce's rules. Used elbows, stunned Kawajiri, and the ref stepped in to finish it, or to wave it off. Melendez gets a win by first round TKO. Awesome win, decisive win. Can't wait to see what's next for him. He called out Frankie Edgar next. Doubt that's going to happen, but I don't see anyone in Strikeforce's lightweight division giving Gilbert Melendez any problems. So he needs to make it to the UFC soon, because that's where the real competition is for him. Main event of the night, Nick Diaz defending his welterweight championship against Paul Semtex Daley. Man, what a fight. Had to watch it on tape delay over here, Showtime, my Comcast, my cable provider. For some reason, they don't let me watch it live. Had to avoid the phone, had to avoid the internet, Twitter, all that. Didn't want to know the results, especially when my favorite fighters fighting. And that fight, could have gone either way, even before it happened. And as it happened, it could have went either way, Diaz went down early, but I don't think he was hurt. I think he slipped or was off balance. Daley looked to finish him. He even did a kick on the ground, which I thought was illegal, but fortunately it didn't cause a problem for either fighter. I was surprised that Nick was able to hurt Daley so early, standing on the field with punches. For those that think Diaz doesn't have power in his hands when he hits, I think Daley can attest after this fight that he does. That said, Daley was able to survive rough spots, turn the fight around again. Dropped Diaz. I don't know if you heard him or not. It was hard to say. I have to go watch a replay. But Diaz went down. It looked like he was hurt. Daley tried to finish him. Couldn't do so. Eventually, Nick got back to his feet. And, implemented a lot of good body punches, like I said he should early on. Hurt Daley in an exchange with a right hook. Daley got turned around. Fell to the ground. Nick finished him off from strikes from the top position. Ref waved it off. And, Nick retains his title via first round stoppage. I don't think the fight should have been stopped. I think that there was only a few seconds. I don't think Daley would have survived. Would have given him some time to recoup in between the rounds. But I also don't have a problem with the stoppage. It appeared that Daley was hurt. It appeared he was. I could see how the way that he took the last couple of punches on the ground, why the ref would stop it. Either way, it looked like Nick was on his way to winning this fight. Like I said in my preview for this fight, the longer it went, the better it was going to favor him. I don't know how much Paul would have had left after that just brutal back and forth first round. But, fight lived up to the hype. Didn't go very long. Both fighters had their moments. Exciting fight while it lasted, and Nick Diaz retains his title in exciting fashion once again. Anyways, good night of fights overall, man. Good weekend of fights overall, even fights I didn't mention, boxing and MMA. So, one of your guys' thoughts on the fights all the fights, boxing fans. Who'd you have winning in Morales, Maidana? Would you like to see a rematch? Would you take in a rematch? And MMA fans, what'd you think about Mousasi Jardine? Did you agree with the decision? Disagree? And what about Diaz Daley? Think the fight was stopped early? Think Diaz would have won anyways? Were you as entertaining and excited by the fight as I was? And, just overall general thoughts. So for now, guys, we'll be talking about all these fights in a little bit on the Science Fights Radio Show. Put a link to the show and the information on the video as usual, as well as a link to my Twitter. You guys can check that out if you want, live or later on podcast on demand. If you check it out live, feel free to call and give your thoughts. Number is 347-637-3025. That's it for now, though. Got to get ready for the show. Until next time, guys, I'm out.